All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Plus U. What
Number
a long
75.
one.
Yeah, that was a long stream.
Oh my gosh.
Wow, it's like I've been sitting here for 2 hours.
Yeah, I mean, pretty close, right? Everybody can hear everybody. Yell at me if something's broken. But yeah, what an unexpectedly huge stream.
Yeah, it's funny because it was like, it wasn't necessarily the most information-packed stream we've ever had. It was long for other reasons. It was long because there was a lot of team spirit.
Some serious shenanigans tonight, for sure.
Some shenanigans, some back and forth.
To hear, though.
Yeah,
it's very wholesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, it felt to me like we were in part of like a VR team meeting. You know what I mean? More than other streams we've seen before. Like it felt like we were inside the boardroom. The virtual boardroom that they share, and we're able to sort of like see the dynamics of their team, which is, that's part of it too. That's part of the development.
Yeah, that's
I think too. I think since it's an indie team, not always looking corporate and like being able to just show your humanistic side, I think is an important part of like a differentiator between you as an indie team versus a very corporate, investors up your butt kind of thing, right?
Yeah, completely agree. Actually, and this really did that, I would say.
Yeah, I feel like if there was some corporate oversight, that there wouldn't have been half the jokes we heard tonight.
Yeah. I mean, Ben was there.
Yeah, Owen was there too.
He's the one. So
yeah. I mean, it's like that's just the nature of this team. So it's a sense of familiarity, I think, is really valuable.
Yep. All right. Well, if anyone's new here, how this works is you join the Discord, you jump in the green room, and we give you a heads up on the show. But of course, I then pull you in and ask you some questions and get your take and everything. So I think I see we've at least got Mr. Man of Rohan in there right now. But if the more the merrier. I know it's probably getting late for a lot of people, but especially if you've never done it before, jump on in. Maybe we get the Discord in the chat here. But yeah, do you guys have anything you want to go into before we start bringing people on?
Nathan, you want to go first? I have a couple things.
Sure.
But...
I definitely have something.
Yeah.
I definitely do, guys. I'm going to take this moment, cue the sad music. Take this moment in this time to reflect upon that time Bendine said the Paladin was coming really, really soon. And here we are with the Warrior coming up next, and Paladin is on the back burner again. I really, with the Cleric being released last time, I really thought, they share some similarities. It's really feeling like it's time for the Paladin's time to shine. And unfortunately, look, I'm also excited about the Warrior. I really am. But I just wanted to be excited about the Warrior after I'd already experienced the Paladin. So,
dude, I could not be so much more different. I'm so excited for the Warrior. It is probably, for some reason, just the tank that I'm getting ready for, and so this is I'm the opposite, man. Paladin can wait. Paladin can wait. Would you say in chat you could be a warrior just with
look, in memory of no Paladin for longer, tomorrow I will be rolling another Paladin in EverQuest, just so everybody knows.
Not enough hours of the day for all the Paladins that Mr. Nathan Napalm wants to have. One for every day of the week, I guess.
Oh, thanks so much, Red. Appreciate you, man. Sorry about the no necro speak there. But yeah, I was actually excited to hear about the Warrior. I know it was going to be a bummer for you, but I don't want to. You can't say too much, but you did get the Cleric. I mean,
I can tell you've never played a paladin when you say something like that. When you say such hurtful things to me.
You know, I'll admit, paladin is probably like it's probably like D tier for me as far as like the classes I'm typically gravitating towards. So I'm
Okay,
sorry, Nathan.
there you go.
But that's why we have the spread of people that we have here.
That's right. Yeah, you need that. Right. You need that variety.
All right. Well, Therek?
I mean, the only other thing I wanted to say, I'm glad we cleared up the whole Seville conundrum.
Dude.
I feel like I have some closure on this epic tale of nonsense that it was, and I can move forward now. I can move forward. So
gracefully too, you know.
Yeah,
he took the blame. He could have easily said it was Minus, and everyone would have believed him, right?
Yeah,
but nope.
Stand up guy.
He took
stand
the
up
fall.
guy, that JN. He did.
It's still going to be a joke for ages to come, I think.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
On a more serious note, I liked a couple things. I want to point out one thing that Joppa said. Acknowledging the imminence confusion, the confusion that caused when he said that last year at almost the exact same time last year, and just saying what does that mean? I think he said it means Pantheon can speak for itself. That's what he intended imminence to mean, and that means when it can speak for itself, they show more gameplay. Mm-hmm. So clarified that a little bit, and I feel like that is good, and I feel like that's what they're pushing hard towards right now.
Yeah, can't wait to see what catchphrase or word we get for next year.
Apparently, we're gonna get one. We're gonna get one next month. Apparently, so.
Everyone should hold him to that. I'm really curious what he kind of like, what he just kind of figures out, right? But yeah, shall we get to Mr. Manarohan?
Yeah, let's do it.
We should. Want me to pull him in?
Oh yeah, I forget. You could do that. I don't have to multitask anymore.
No, I can let you off the hook. So yeah, there you go. Unmuted. Perfect. Manarohan, coming on in. Hello, Manarohan. How's it going, dude?
Good.
What's up?
Well, good-ish.
Yeah.
I've had a rough week, but I don't need to get into that. So the stream was I really liked how personal it was. You know, and you guys mentioned it, but it's one of those things that's it kind of lets us in on the family, sort of, lets us in on the development a little bit, even more so. Like I had a stronger connection, I think, just emotionally to them tonight than I have in for a while. For a long time. There's excitement that they're working, and we get to hear them talk, and we hear little things about them, but just those little jokes with themselves and just being kind of a little more candid about how they were dealing with whatever it was, and just it was a nice introspective. They kind of really hit the title of it pretty well. I would have liked a little more information. Me.
I agree.
I'm hungry for more information for sure, especially this being the monthly stream that is telling us that. I feel like maybe they could have had just a super secret or super extra introspective one that was not this scheduled for this time, as an extra communication, just to like a Christmas spectacular or whatever you might want to call it.
Yeah, it was a bit loose, right? I mean, there was information for people that maybe haven't been following, but even that wasn't super, I don't know, pertinent. It was kind of like casually like kind of thrown out. So it might not have even been super informative to people that don't follow a lot. So I definitely see that. Yeah.
Yeah, one of my critiques is that when you take questions sort of on the fly like that, I know some of the VIP ones were from ahead of time or whatever, but I feel like a lot of these were just taken on the fly. It becomes a little unfocused, and it becomes you get a lot of the same questions asked over and over again, right? How many times in the stream have we heard, is Bard gonna be in at launch? We all know the answer to that. And you can say that about a few of the other questions.
Oh, what? Bard's not in? Is that what you're saying? Oh gosh, I didn't know that.
It's almost like a little bit of curation, like might have gone a long way. A little bit of preparation, right?
Just to get some new angles on something, instead of sort of like, is this game casual or hardcore friendly? And that's a fair question. It's just that we it's a very common one. And
yeah, it's like we could, check the website.
Yeah, and but, it's recycled a few times. So
yeah. I mean, I don't want to dwell on any of the what I wish it could have been, because it's the end of the year. Ish, and they're preparing for what's next, and I hope that I'm looking forward to a good next year as well. But it felt a little bit like a happy hour after a long project.
That's a great way to put it. It did feel like happy hour.
As they said, they're a little punch drunk. Maybe he went right. Maybe
they definitely did some of that. So, but I enjoyed the jokes a lot. So I was happy about that. But that's just me. I hope that and I actually didn't see a lot of real trolly comments out there. A couple of.
Interestingly enough, it started when the stream started, right? It was like it started, but then they just kind of like, they're so freaking lovable.
Yeah, you can't just be being mean.
You're just gonna be mean in Twitch chat when everyone's having this wholesome moment, right? Like,
yeah, right.
Yeah,
I definitely get what you're saying. I've maybe not on purpose, or maybe it just kind of worked out this way, but I found that this was I didn't know I wanted this so much. I love introspectives and years in review and everything, but the way this played out, I think, was kind of like a tonal center, especially because it's November, and and some of us are getting ready for Thanksgiving, and I found this to be like a I'm thankful for this team, kind of I'm thankful for this game, and it came out in just such a honest way, I guess. And so it's like, yes, the information totally valid, would have loved more information, but there is something to be said about setting the precedent for who these people are as well. And I think this stream did that better than any streams we've had probably in the last 4 years, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. It felt very like this is what the culture of this group is, and it really kind of put that on display, and you could see that was probably a regular thing for them as they're working normally. And so it just I think it helps the rest of us feel a part of that. And I think it's important. I think definitely that's important. We want the game to be done, and I know that it might feel like sometimes we're just saying, "Hey, quit wasting time on being funny." But you know what? We're not gonna get a good game. Just like I feel about the art, all of the concept art. We're not gonna get a good game. We're not gonna get a good thing unless the people are working together in an innovative way creatively.
Yeah, and it's very obvious that these people jive off of each other, right? Like,
right,
definitely.
Yeah,
team has to have that, and to be honest, that shows that there is some because they do play off one another. That kind of shows you that there's a lot of things that happen doing any kind of project where you need to kind of know how the other people are and how they will react in order to make the right decision, to not waste time, to be efficient. So I think things like this, once again, are just really good for that. Just seeing like, this is how these people are. They get along with each other. They're very close to one another. Obviously, they have a ridiculous project they're doing together, and let us in and kind of like behind the scenes a little bit tonight. And I thought that was good.
Yeah.
And we all know that they were originally actually going to show the Dark Mirror, and it just wasn't ready.
I was just about to try to segue so cleverly.
Oh, you kind of hurt me cleverly. Just there. I was excited. I was really hoping for something like that tonight. Because
so they did. They did confirm, that they're progressing through the models. It's just a matter of resources, and because they're focusing on kind of scrubbing up the client stuff right now. But they're still getting pushed out, right? So. They're there.
The quote was, I want to read it because I did write it down. What was it? I think it was Kyle talking about the models. Where was it?
Yeah.
Of course, I can't find it.
I summarized it, so I don't want to quote my notes. But yeah, technically,
it was
technically in the client, but not wired in. Is that what you're looking for?
That's exactly what I was just talking
okay,
about.
I did quote him actually.
Yeah, and just as they said, I mean, it sounded like a lot of the things that they talked about. They said, competing for time for implementation time.
Yeah.
So, and they talked about that with the crafting, Nefel, and like everybody's just in this sort of queue waiting to get their specific area some attention, some work on, right? Because it's done or it's ready for something. It just needs to get attended to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. There's only so many people and there's only so much time. So, that just goes to the nuts and bolts of, they need people, they need money, they need talent, they need, any endeavor like this just needs that. So
that speaks
Adam touched on that exact point. Right?
I was just about to bring up the whole Steve thing. Steve, how Steve kind of, or that was Kyle, I guess. Sorry.
Kyle. I have a different point, but go ahead. Yeah, I know what you're going to say.
Oh, it's just when Kyle's talking about, how bringing Steve on kind of made it so that they had to bounce around so much less, which I'm sure is, is going to increase productivity, right? And so anyway, sorry about that there. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I was just going to say, Adam was talking about, the question was about the zones. How many zones are there? What's the zone count?
Yeah, twice.
And he said, as it is now, that's based on their team size. It can expand or it can shrink based on their team size, right? Everything is based on their size of their team and the resources, obviously, that come from that team. So, we got to keep that in mind, that they are relatively small still, and it's going to take time. It's going to take time.
Yep. Anyway, just wanted to comment about the good feels of the year, and my week, like I said, it was a bad one, so I maybe not a good litmus test for how emotionally I felt about it, but I felt good about all of the gratitude and stuff that they had. So
sometimes that's what you need, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes
that's good for the soul.
Yeah,
for sure. So anyway, thanks
guys. For coming on anyway, Mr. Man of Rohan. We'll see you.
Yeah, man. Hopefully next week's better to you, dude.
Yeah, I hope so too. Thanks.
See ya.
All right.
Let's talk to byproducts. We haven't talked to byproducts in a while. So, byproducts, if you want to unmute yourself, I'll bring you in to the green room. There you go. Hey, byproducts, how are you?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going well.
Hey,
it's going well. What's up?
Not a whole lot. I mostly joined to keep Man of Rohan company. He was all like, I'm leave.
Well, the green room can be a lonely place
sometimes. Yeah, sometimes.
What did you think of the stream?
It was great. You guys were hitting on a lot of the same points, but like I find like moments like that important for like kind of helping remind everybody that these are people working on the game. And it's like you guys said, it's like some of that stuff wouldn't have happened if it was a corporation, and it's like a lot of these streams wouldn't happen at all if it was a corporation.
True.
And I see some people like just dragging on the game and dragging on the company all the time but like I feel like they just kind of forget that they're just people.
I think sometimes people take for granted things that they don't realize you have this because the team is like this, right? Like it's easy to be critical and say we don't like this and take shots at some of these big companies that you feel aren't responsive to the player base or aren't responsive to the community's needs. Like we as a community, the Pantheon community, have been following this game. There was many discussions we've had about how much media should they put out, what should their development update cadence look like, and they've always been very responsive to it, right? And big companies don't do that necessarily, not as often anyway.
True.
Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of. I mean, just setting aside the fact it's a crowdfunded game, is just plenty of games that even were crowdfunded that you just don't see anything or hear anything from them for years, and then and then they show the product, and it's like you had no idea. Maybe you even bought into the game years ago, and you get nothing until they're actually ready to like show a completed project.
Yeah, and then it's all this manufactured kind of hype train and all this, you know, trying to just get as many people as possible, and you immediately feel disconnected, right, from the team that's making it.
Anything else struck you or a standout?
Well, I did want to remind, you know, Nathan that, you know, the paladins, they never put themselves forward. So of course the paladin is going to be, you know, last, because they're going to, you know, push the other classes forward. Be like, no, work on these classes. Paladins can wait.
Self-sacrifice all the way to implementation.
And I'm totally cool being Pantheon patient, but I don't know how long I can be Paladin patient. Okay.
Even the class itself is role playing itself. That is so good.
Nathan's gonna need a lay on hands pretty soon here. He's low on health.
Needs that 90% res.
He's looking for that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's
Awesome.
Good points, man. That's really good stuff. Anything else?
Oh no, you know, that's all I had to find. There really wasn't a lot of information, as you guys said in the stream. It was a very long stream. It was very nice, very entertaining, but there wasn't really a much to the stream. There wasn't a lot of meat to the stream.
There are some like confirmations, which I do appreciate, or at least addressing things. They did address a lot of things that, you know, we could probably get to as we go.
Well, and mostly the co-stream. I think that's the big ticket item from this whole thing, and they talked about it right off the. That's the first question that they answered. So, you know, when is the next co-stream? And they said why they're holding off. You know, they want to get it to the point where, you know, it shows well, and it like Joppa said, speaks for itself. So they want to optimize the FPS. They want to optimize all the performance issues that they saw from the last test. And I think that made a lot of sense. You know, we didn't get a date on it, but at least they addressed it.
You know, that I think sharing their heart behind that was really important. And they did the other thing, which is actually sharing what the problem is. That is just, it seems to escape communications of, you know, many companies that release their PR stuff, right? It wasn't ultra specific, but they literally to come out and say, yeah, a client performance wasn't where we wanted it to be, and we don't really want to show the game, you know, knowing that we could fix this up in a relatively short time, right? Like, I think everyone can understand that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't like begrudging, like, oh man, oh no, we got this far and like client performance is bad. It's just like, oh no, we're just going to address that, you know, we're just going to take care of that.
Yeah. And Adam even added to that, saying that they've actually made those changes. They just need to scale them out now to validate them at a PA level scale. So I thought that was encouraging.
Yeah. Yeah. Very, very well done on that. Whoever put that, that bit together. Cause everyone wanted to know.
That time that Joppa went on a little bit of a tangent there for some reason about the man who was a book. Did you know what he was referring to?
Oh my God. Okay. I have a theory about this. I have a theory about this. Because when we did our DevIR stream, Nathan.
Yeah.
You remember how he said there was a secret that we never found, that nobody found?
That's what I was thinking of. Yeah,
Testing? I think that's what he was talking about. I could be wrong. However, I have a feeling that the book thing he was saying is like, that's the secret. And I'm, oh man.
There's a person who got trapped in a book or something. Like,
he said it was in Diogratius's chamber. And so I have a feeling there's some...
Are you going to go back now and look over your DevIR footage?
I distinctly remember them.
I looked.
I remember them goading a bit as well, as people were poking around that room, you know, trying to click on everything, and apparently still missed it. So
maybe something you had to like click on something else before you could click on it or something like that.
It's something like that.
We may never know.
Something. Joppa just likes to awaken that twinge of regret that I didn't discover it in that moment. So I can live with it though.
Can you?
Well, partially. We'll see.
It'll be exciting when you figure it out.
It will be.
Yeah.
That's right. Right on.
All right.
Anything
Thanks for
else,
hopping on again.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime.
Right on, man. Talk to you later. All right. That's byproducts. How about Mr. Cottleshire?
Yeah, again.
Another second time calling in. Maybe.
Awesome.
But yeah, nice to have somebody else. So yeah, he's unmuted. Let's bring him in. Hello, Mr. Cottleshire. How's it going?
Hey, it's going pretty good.
Good. Nice to hear from you again. Back for another one. We didn't scare you off the first time.
That's always good, right?
Got scared off. It was pretty smooth.
So what'd you think of the stream?
You know, kind of a sleeper hit. I hear year in review and I just expect like, it's just going to be the same stuff. And it was really, really good. I didn't know I needed this, but I need it.
Yeah. Well said. Feel the same.
It's, yeah, I mean, they teased it as a year in review, but all looking forward a little bit. And when you bring the team together and you get them all to reflect on what specifically they have accomplished over the course of the year, you really understand, the importance of each aspect of what they do, how they all sort of come together and fit together. So even though it wasn't a lot of new information, nuggets or anything like that, you get to put the pieces together to see the greater whole, right? So
Yeah.
I felt like the whole aspect of, I called it the year of sass because they were just sassing each other the whole time. It just shows you just how comfortable they are around each other. I'm imagining like a AAA studio, and it's like, oh, I gotta get this project into this boss, and he's probably gonna get mad. And I imagine everyone can talk to Joppa or anyone else pretty freely.
Yeah, it's funny because I think that sometimes there's a misconception that teams that operate like that don't get a lot of work done, right? Because they're just joking around all the time. They're always like goofing on each other. There's always something that's, it's like sort of like, that show Mythic Quest. I don't know if you guys have watched that.
Yeah.
Basically, it's like a game studio, right? And it's like they all just goof around. Like, how does any work actually get done there? But I always correct people, and I think it's the exact opposite. I think a team that is so tightly wound and not having any fun, they don't get anything done. They are not doing, and if they are, it's not being done to the best of their abilities.
And burnout too. It's like
burnout.
This is a long project. Like they've got to be like this, or you'd be gone.
Yeah, typically when teams have a difficult project and they're afraid to communicate, etc., what actually ends up happening is wasted time because they don't feel comfortable enough to ask the question like, wait, did you mean this? Or, they don't get to the nitty gritty and they have to make a lot of assumptions, and therefore they don't get things done. A good, efficient team is people who get along with one another personally, and therefore they are comfortable enough to ask the hard questions or to push the other one to get things done and to make a joke that is still friendly and nice, but also insinuates, hurry it up, we're on a time limit, or whatever it may be, right?
That's right. And I think that at the end, Joppa really relayed the sentiment that keeps everybody task focused, right? It's like they want this game to exist as much as we do, right? So
if not more, yeah,
absolutely, right? If not more, 100%. So, and I think that also permeates the team.
Can I just point out how gracefully that Joppa handled that situation where he said other games have released recently, what is our thoughts about it? His answer, because I was sitting there like, oh wow, this is kind of like, I didn't think they would touch this with the 10-foot pole. He handled that with like the absolute just magnificence of a god when he answered that. I mean, I was actually in like a little bit of shock, like listening to it, like, wow, he just like nailed every word so perfectly to be like, without being mean, but but also being blunt, like that's why these milestones are this important, right? Like, dude, that speaks volumes. And he's not poking, he's not, he's really I don't know. That impressed the crap out of me, and it always does when Joppa will handle a difficult.
They're incredibly respectful. Like that's this team. They're in the same trenches as other studios as well, and it's not like they don't know what they're going through, and potentially see a future that they could be going through, and they're learning from everyone. and they're always just so respectful, because in the end, making an MMO is hard. And they know. And so why put others down in this space? You know, there's room. There really is. Anyway, yeah, I was impressed by that as well.
I always find it's easier to just be negative and be like, oh, well, you know, screw these guys, we're better. And it's a lot harder to have like a more positive note. And honestly, I can listen to Joppa read the dictionary for 10 hours and I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's absolutely true. I mean, that's the key to being a good leader, good manager of any team, is being able to, you know, focus on what gets the job done, what moves the project forward, and, you know, taking a, you know, being hard on other games or teams for no reason other than just to, you know, dunk on them is not productive, right? So yeah, I agree. Yep. I agree. I think you put it well.
What? Anything else, Mr. Cottleshire?
You could just call me. I mean, you got me, but you could just call me Mr. C, because Mr. Cottleshire is kind of a mouthful.
Mr. C, got it. From now on, Mr. C, it is.
All right.
I also wanted to bring up the whole, because they were talking about like, you know, I died to brownies and I couldn't get my corpse back, and that kind of really. That whole like shared trauma is really like what's at the heart of MMOs, because I'm sure most of us have experience if we played EverQuest or 11 where it's like, hey, I died, please help me get my corpse back, and you know that kind of forms more community bonds that way.
Mm-hmm. That's something that comes up in our talks here, you know, just us as Pantheon Plus and with everybody and all the streaming and stuff we do, like. That's how we bond, because of those those experiences, and to hear the team making this game, you know, sort of saying, yeah, we went through that too, you know that they're coming from the same place.
Yeah, emphasizes that point. That's like they get it.
Yeah,
they get it.
I mean, we can listen to traumatic EverQuest stories all day. We could just sit here and just talk.
Yeah,
all day about traumatic EverQuest stories,
and we could write books.
Yeah,
books and books and books.
Libraries.
Yeah. Was it you that put that in chat, that like shared trauma is like like a key part of?
Yeah, I think I did put that.
I mean, to a degree, right? To a degree, that was a good shout. It was really funny just how everyone started like pulling out, you know, their stories and stuff, and it's like if you press a button on the VR team, like you could just get them to spill all of the, you know, just gush about, you know, their favorite experiences and what's impacted them, and after, you know, getting that for a few minutes, you're like, okay, yeah, like we're in good hands here. Like they know what they're making.
Yeah, and that's why I'm so excited about this project. You know, hearing them, their stories and how they're gonna bring that to an MMO that we haven't really had in a while.
Yeah, agreed. Well, thanks for coming back, Mr. C. Hope to see you again.
Hope to be back.
You will. Okay. Later.
See you.
All right. We got a couple new people jumping into the green room.
Yeah.
Let's talk to Bounty Code. Hey, Bounty, unmute yourself so I can get you in here. I know what Bounty Code was.
Oh my gosh.
The same thing every single time.
Steve.
But yeah, he's going to.
Oh my gosh.
Clover.
Steve Clover.
Clover, shout out.
Steve, get him in here.
Clover.
So, Bounty, what's on your mind?
I guess there's no need to talk about it.
No, we want to hear it.
Were you really going to talk about Steve?
Well, I saw it in chat and I got all excited. It was like someone in chat said that Steve Clover has implemented basic swimming. I'm like, what? I didn't know.
I caught that too. Yeah.
Yeah. So is that real?
That's nice.
Yeah, he actually did talk about that previously. I want to say actually maybe even 2 months. It was a bit ago. I thought that it was mentioned
last month.
Oh
yeah.
Bounty.
I have a horrible memory. Yeah. What?
Why did Amazon needs to hire Steve Clover for just like 5 minutes?
I was going to come in and say, so Steve Clover has single-handedly made Pantheon. It's pre-alpha and it's better than New World.
Oh my gosh! I love how we're like, oh, I love how respectful they are, you know, of other games. And
I don't have to be respectful.
Like, that's right. No. Throws it down.
Yeah,
oh, thanks,
he's
under
no obligation to be respectful.
Yeah, we're not making an MMO.
Yeah, we're not making the MMO. That's right. Exactly.
We're just commenting on them.
Yeah,
they can live vicariously through us. Oh man.
And look at Sparrow gifting all those subs.
I know. Everybody's being so nice. Red too. So wholesome. It's been a very wholesome night, right? Like
it was so fun. It was just hearing them laughing and joking. That was probably the best part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they. Go ahead, Des. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to ask a joking question, just like someone asked them that kind of started off all that shenanigans. Like, who was your favorite character in the stream tonight? Who's shown the brightest?
Joppa, come on, guys. Come on.
No.
No, it was Joppa.
I gotta go with Ronak and the hair, man.
Oh yeah. Well, that's not fair. That's not fair.
A beautiful head of hair. I'm telling you.
That's not. He does. I agree, but that's not fair
Absolutely.
for him to win by the hair. I'm gonna go with the personality. I'm gonna go with Joppa.
Oh, I put it in my notes. The magic move. There it is.
Yeah, magic move. Oh, I've got it.
I really put it in my notes.
Desryn's putting it on his grocery list for next week. He's like, I got to pick myself up some of that magic move.
Oh,
just wait till Saturday, guys. Just wait. I've got it all mapped out in my head. All I got to do is make it happen.
Oh my gosh, Nathan,
that's gonna be good. I see it.
I am so ready.
You know where I'm going.
I'm so ready
with some crappy editing skills. Oh yeah.
Down for that.
Yeah. Joppa.
So Bounty. Anything other than Steve Clover?
I think, was it T-Home that mentioned that the servers can handle all the zones at least for one copy?
Oh my gosh!
Flash picks.
I mean, I guess we're already in it, right?
Yeah, he said. The question was, when more zones are added for PA testing, what effect does it have? Kyle said that doesn't really make any difference. Each zone is isolated, and they have decently powerful servers that are spec'd to run each zone at max capacity. So, there you go.
So that doesn't necessarily...
But he said at least for one copy.
Yeah.
Say at least for one copy?
Yes.
Say that?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I've always said that there's nothing wrong, and as a matter of fact, if you're expecting a large population, it's dumb not to institute an instance for the beginning when everybody is loading into the same areas, right? So all the humans are all cram-packed in there. And then, as people spread out and they begin going different zones and they begin adventuring out, and then those problems tend to go away.
Yeah. And as Lowriser says in chat here, he did say that it would probably actually run better as players spread out anyway, because we're talking 500 and some people in one zone to start, and it's fine. That's more launch day scenario. But as you're saying with the instances, if there's a time to temporarily do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like when population hits a certain point, it's like, okay, we got to split it because now performance is getting beat up, right? That's just being smart.
Yeah, I just need the here we go meme. I think we got it.
Slippery slope. Here we go, sliding down. No, I'm just kidding.
No, we got through that gracefully. I think. Anything else, Bounty?
No, that's it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for popping on, man.
Talk to you later.
Yep. Bye.
All right, we got one more guest. We have a very special guest in the green room. We have our friend Minus hanging out there. Let's see what Minus has to say about that, because I'm curious as to how he felt about this one.
Didn't we ban this guy from the show a few years ago?
Well, you know what? Ban is a sort of a layered. We've done many things to try and bring Minus in, but then phase him out somehow. He keeps showing up.
I got echo. I had the echo going. Look, I pulled that old move. You put me in a band, Nathan? What did you do?
That's right. That's right.
Like banned me.
Bard band. Yes.
I mean, there were songs. There were songs long ago.
Yes, there were.
Many songs. Yes. Hey! Thanks for throwing me under the bus again, there, Minus.
Yeah, you like that? Did you know that story? You didn't know that, did you?
I know that story. I've heard that story before.
Okay.
Yeah. No. And I stand by my position that I was not involved in the decision making of that video as to who got the shout outs and who didn't. But it'll be one of those things.
Like I said, I mean, anyone who has worked with Therek knows, he plays this nice guy persona all the time. He gets the community behind him. He knows lore. But end of the day, watch out for him. I mean, it's always that one. I'm surprised he doesn't play a rogue. He says he's playing a ranger. Watch out for the rogue.
Hey, everybody can have one incognito alt at least.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly. That's the alt that you don't see the notification when I log on.
The Dark Ranger.
Yeah, the Dark Ranger. There you go. So great stream, Minus. I think you've heard us talking about what we got from it, and obviously the big thing was just the synergy, the teamwork, the dynamic between you guys. Love hearing it. I mean, love hearing it. Right? And I think when you've done this kind of thing before, you've said how much the community spirit fuels you guys and to do your work, and I think for us hearing this, it fuels us to want to continue to follow the project, believe in the project, and interact with you guys. So really, I think it was a very positive stream, and I think that's what we've been saying. So how did you feel about how it went?
Well, first, thank you. That's it's nice to hear that you guys got that out of it. And the other thing too, thank you guys. I know we kept you late tonight, so we pushed Therek's probably ready for bed.
Well, you don't know this, but I hurt my back yesterday badly, and I didn't even stream tonight. We didn't do our 201 stream, and I'm in pain. I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh my God, they're going an hour and a half.
Yeah.
But
just watch that time ticking up.
Hopefully there was some laughter you had that kind of even set that, like, oh, I'm hurting my back from laughing.
I did actually.
He was laughing. I was keeping an eye on him the whole stream because I was worried. Because as soon as you guys said this is going to be a little longer, I was like, oh, what a night. What a night for them to pull that one.
It was worth it, though.
And you guys meant it, too. It was an hour and a half.
So whose idea was this format, Minus? Can you say that?
Ronick and I have been talking a long time about, how we did the AMA last year. And we want, this is going to get into a little deep conversation here. So please ask away if you don't mind me going on a little bit here. But so we want, everyone's aware of what we want to do with content. I promise I'll get back to your answer here. We want to create different types of content. We understand, and again, listen, I work on scheduling. I work on how our content schedule goes out, and then I work with people. I really plan that out in advance with partners in each different parts, whether it's, Chris working with Parting the Veil or David working with the live stream, and then Ben being involved. It's a lot of work. And since I came in, the one thing I said is that we're going to have content that is going to hit different levels for people. And the thing is whether it's a podcast, it's short form, it's a live stream, it's a discussion live stream, whatever we do, I am, and we are as a team, very knowledgeable that not everything we put out is for everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. It's just a simple matter that we're never going to try to achieve that. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I want to know how many MMORPGs out there, I'm not disparaging, whether they're in development or not, are putting out a schedule like we do every single month. There's not many.
Nobody.
And I'm not trying to pat ourselves on the back, but what I'm trying to say is this, that sometimes something like an AMA where we're not showing something new, can be perceived differently. And watching the chat tonight, it was really nice to see that people sort of felt us. So getting back to your question, who kind of came up with this? David and I have talked about when do we do one of these? And we think that doing it around this time every year is good for a multitude of reasons. One, it's very heavy, November, December, you have holidays, you have a lot going on. I think it's a great time to let some of the development go, let some of it really get heads down. Things like these are a little easier to produce. And it allows us to stop working from, when we get something, can we show it? When we get something, can we show it? As things are going faster, we're going to start having a backlog, like where we can't show everything. And when we get there, it's going to be phenomenal, but we're not there yet. And so it means we have to think about content differently. Like, Parting the Veil is a design discussion around the core fundamental of Pantheon. Some of it might be in the distance. Some of it may be after launch. Some of it, but that's what that is. We're not trying to pretend that it's something different. So again, getting back to it, like this stream, we weren't able to show you something new, but there is a massive value in what this team is. And I'm not saying there's not other development studios out there that have this, but we are a small team. We are a small, passionate, hardworking team. And when we don't leverage that or show the community, I think we're doing ourselves a disservice, and we're not doing it to like get pats on the back, but it's like the people aspect of this is why I'm here. It's why I'll put in any hours I can. And I think that a lot of the team would say that. And I love the fact that earlier in the show, everybody was talking about, you know, getting to see how fun it is and how much we get along. And that is there. But I'm going to tell you right now, there is a lot of times where we don't get to do this because we're working so hard. Our heads are down. And I think what you saw tonight was a very natural sort of release. And it wasn't, what unfolded tonight was not planned. Number one, we didn't know what questions we'd be answering. All we planned was we're going to have this set group on. We got a couple questions from VIP ahead of time, and there was no plans past that. And I think the big thing is that it was a great opportunity for us to be really proud of where we're at, especially coming off of what I consider a very successful pre-alpha test. I mean, you heard Kyle talk about Vinyl, right? Vinyl
he's feeling himself about,
right?
know,
we all are.
Yeah.
And think about this. Imagine taking an entire network structure library out of a game, putting a new one in. How many fault points do you think there is that could go wrong?
Millions.
Yeah.
And you know, for Kyle, and I love Kyle so much, and he works tirelessly. And to hear him laugh and to hear him having a good time, not saying that he doesn't, it felt really good even for me. At the end of the day, you know, when you can show this element of like, we're a lot like you. We're a lot like this community. Yeah. The community support that we get is very reminiscent of us being able to feel the way we did tonight, to be able to sort of let our hair down, to be able to talk about this project, to share our love, to thank our teams, the people we work with. And we know that's not for everybody. I get it. Listen, fine. It's fine. That's absolutely fine. And we'll take that feedback. But I really hope that there was some things learned about the character, and you can put any value you want into that, of the people that were there and even the people that didn't get to be on that stream.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's valuable for a lot of the folks that haven't been following the game, you know, as closely as we have. I mean, we kind of know, like we know, just the three of us here, but you know, a lot of people, it's good. This would come off as something they've never seen before, right? They're like, what is this? You know, like what kind of development team is this? And it really speaks volumes to it. Yeah. So, and then of course, I mean, you're always going to get those comments, people that don't vibe with it, right? People that aren't going to get it.
Sure. And like Minus said, no matter what content you make, there's always going to be some people who don't vibe with that. And you can't, as a content creator, try to make everybody happy. You're just trying to do either the right thing and or the best thing for the moment.
I think no other content creator can speak to that quite as much as you, Nathan.
That's true. Really... I straight up make content that's not good for me. but I do want to say one thing, that the question was whose idea was this, and since we got that big roundabout thing, that tells me who it was. It must have been Ronick. It must have been Ronick's idea.
Wow.
Nice. I'm saying I don't want to give him credit. No, I'm kidding.
I do think it's really important and kind of a passion of mine, though, that the VR team can feel comfortable enough to present themselves in that way. I want to jump on that because that's a great bring up, and it's not always the case. And that's not because we don't want to. It's because we have a deep passion to deliver. And what could be a small setback, which is going to happen, right, can still feel heavy, especially when we see the community reacting heavy. Even if it's something we can fix in a day or two, but it pushes us back a day or two. It's natural. It's what's going to happen. And there is
deep. I mean, Joppa was kidding about the gray that he has, but you guys can go back and watch videos from earlier. That came on pretty quick. We almost call it his presidential aging, right?
Yeah, no, that's been a joke for years.
Presidential aging.
Yeah,
yeah, and it's because, number one, I don't want to overspeak from my position here, but we will not fail. We refuse to fail. And we may fall from time to time, but we have a team that's going to pick us up, and we know that a majority of the community is also going to pick us up. And those falling, like, listen here, and I'm going to get very leadership heavy here because this is where I come from. That's my world, people development, leadership, supporting each other. But the only way to get confidence in anything you do is to fall and know someone's there to pick you up. To fall and know someone's there to pick you up. And when you build relationships, once you fall enough and you know you're going to get picked up, you're willing to risk, you're willing to try, you're willing to gain confidence. And that's what our team is all about. And that's what, again, that's what this community does for us. And listen, same thing for people who are frustrated. We're with you. We hear you. We want to deliver for you the same way we want to deliver for the most patient people who love what we're doing and support us and come to our streams. I get it. I'll share something with you guys. And I said this when on one of my streams, it was pretty tough. And I think you guys remember this one when I was on with Nathan, you were there. We were talking about Brad. And one of the conversations I first had with Brad that really set me up, even to be able to do Pantheon Plus when I did, was he told me, he's like, listen, why get mad about someone who's frustrated about your product and telling you? Whether it's fair, whether it's not, it's better than nothing at all. And I really took that to heart. It's one of the things he imbued upon me as a content creator, no matter where I'm at, is that it's good. Some people aren't as good or soft at communicating it, but it's still good. It's still good to hear passion. And it comes in all directions and it's all useful. But yeah, like, you got to do what you got to do, and you got to be real, and you got to be yourself. And we are striving to be clear, to be more clear. The last year, I think we have been extraordinarily consistent with our scheduling, with our output, our clarity of what's coming, when it's coming, how it's coming. We brought back the newsletter. We have more content than we've ever had. And again, some of it's going to not appeal to everybody, but overwhelmingly, a large part of our community finds at least some value in everything we put out. And I think that's an awesome testament to what we're doing. Can we get better? Yes. Can we clear up stuff a little bit better? Yes. But it is a constant desire, passion, and a promise that we will continue to work towards that. No. So sorry, rant.
No, well said. Well said. I don't think I don't have anything to add to that. That's exactly what we're here for. Yeah. Right on, man. Well, I mean, before we let you go, though, I mean, I don't know. I have to close it with one word, and you have to say this word. A certain manner that was released in the stream last month.
I'm off the hook, man.
Well, I'm off the hook. I need to hear you say it, though. I need to hear you say it.
Do you want me to say it the right way?
Yes.
Say it. Thank you. Okay. I can say
JN, look, I told JN, you can throw me under the bus, man. I don't care. Everybody knows I don't pronounce anything right. But he took it. So, thank you, JN. I appreciate that. I could have easily lived with another one on my plate. Wouldn't have really made a difference.
Yeah. I'm creating a video called Tome of Mispronunciations, I'll have you know.
If you guys could only hear after stream and before stream, and I don't know if anyone noticed, like when Kyle or Joppa was typing in the chat, like phonetically, he's like, "Is this what it looked like? Is this what it looked like?" So it was. Oh my gosh,
it was so great. It was solid gold, man. Loved it.
It totally was. Well, Minus, my friend, it's always good to talk to you.
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys. Thanks for staying up late. Therek, sorry about the beatdown us Cowboys gave your Bears, but
my God.
You're looking better.
Look, you're looking better. 4 weeks ago now. What are you talking about? Have you watched the last 3 weeks? Justin Fields is like the best player in the NFL. Haven't you heard or what?
Yeah, but not against us. So.
Yeah, that's right. Not this year. Next year,
maybe.
See you, buddy.
I know. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
See you, Minus.
See ya.
All right, that's the green room, my friends.
Oh man, all the good feelings. That's just what we need this year.
Yeah, it's that time of year.
Yeah, but now I'm like thinking, oh, now there's gonna be a backlog. So next month, my expectations are even higher.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Get a little Christmas present, hopefully.
Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice? Mm-hmm. All right, guys. Well, I think it's about time to wrap it up. Thanks everyone for coming out, especially that this went late, especially that there wasn't like a ton of news or really exciting things to talk about. All however many of you guys are hanging out. It's just so fun. Epitomizes the community we like building here, and y'all are just great. So thank you, and thanks for bearing with us.
Absolutely.
Any good night thoughts from you guys before I shut it down?
Not for me. We had a good crowd tonight, and I want to thank everybody for coming out.
Yep. Thanks everybody, and Paladin 2023, baby.
All right. Good night, everybody.